on the following morning. While Bush clung to and fought to preserve his slight lead, controversies arose immediately as officials struggled over how to deal with the now infamous butterfly ballot, as well as veteran and absentee ballots, and the manner in which punch card ballots were to be tabulated. Recounts were demanded, started, opposed, stopped, started again, and stopped again. The Florida Supreme Court ultimately rendered 3 decisions on various aspects of the recount process and the deadlines for counting votes, and the U.S. Supreme Court twice heard arguments and rendered opinions overturning the Florida Supreme Court, the first of which was argued for Bush by Ted, but argued for Gore not by David, but by another member of the Gore legal team. With the numerous rulings by the courts and Florida election officials, new recount totals, and conflicting tabulations, the possible outcomes seemed to change daily. The Bush lead kept shrinking with each new count. The world was transfixed by the avalanche of lawsuits and competing explanations and arguments by the campaign spokespersons and their lawyers. David led the Gore legal team and appeared frequently on television, explaining and defending the Gore position. Ted was performing similar duties for Bush, in court and in the public arena. The day-to-day drama of the recount controversy has been depicted in exhaustive detail, including in David's own book, Courting Justice, and in the popular HBO television film, Recount, and will undoubtedly be written about again and again. We will, for now, leave that to others. For the two of us, it all came down to our appearance before the Supreme Court of the United States on December 11th. With the election of the 43rd President of the United States hanging in the balance, all of us were exhausted and sleep-deprived after 5 weeks of non-stop work. Had it gone on another day, it is far from clear that any of us would have remained standing. Outside, on that Monday in December, the Supreme Court was surrounded by satellite trucks, cameras, reporters from all over the world, competing protesters with handmade posters and manufactured signs, tourists, and the simply curious. Inside, the courtroom was packed with leaders of the respective campaigns, members of Congress, journalists, dignitaries and celebrities, lucky members of the public who had managed to score a ticket, law clerks and lawyers everywhere. In the moments before a Supreme Court argument, opposing counsel meet with the Supreme Court clerk, mostly to make sure everyone knows the ground rules and to receive last-minute guidance from the clerk concerning any changes in procedure. That meeting typically takes place in the lawyer's lounge, adjacent both to the courtroom and to a small office reserved for the Solicitor General. On this day, the lounge had been reserved as an overflow room where spectators could hear an audio broadcast of the argument, so the meeting took place in the clerk's office. The court's clerk, William K. Souter, who retired in 2013, formerly the acting Judge Advocate General of the Army, is a tall, distinguished man with the erect bearing that befits a retired Army general. Elegantly dressed in the customary morning suit worn by certain court officials and representatives of the Solicitor General's office, he went over the protocol with us, mindful, as everyone was, that this was an historic occasion, like few others in the court's history. He explained the day's procedures and tried to put us at ease with a few light comments about the court and his office, which was decorated with an autographed photograph of himself and Private First Class Elvis Presley, who had trained with him at Fort Hood in 1958. It was a noble effort, but nothing was going to put either of us at ease with the presidency at stake and the whole world watching. We then entered the courtroom and took our positions on opposite sides of the podium facing the justices, who entered shortly thereafter. The tense but respectful and professional argument ensued.